Welcome everyone to today's webinar. I'm going to be adding Whitney here, our speaker, to join me, but please, in the chat box, please share with me where you're calling in from. Thanks so much for being here. Excited to jump into this topic. So I'm just going to make sure everyone can chat. Okay, so yeah, please share with us in the chat box where you're calling in from and what you're excited about learning. Today's gonna be a really neat topic around car washes, and I'm really excited to have Whitney here. So let me just get her to join me, and we'll get going here. Hey Dee, hey Ann, thanks for being here. Hey Susan, excited to learn. Yes, another stream of passive income. That is so important. Hey Whitney.
Hey, I'm here, but it's not allowing me to show my video.
Okay, bear with me here. I'm not sure why, but I will do what I can to help here. Good to have you here.
Yes, I'm so excited. I see Beth from Hilton Head, South Carolina. We actually have a hotel in your areas.
Why can't I see you? Just bear with me. But yeah, if you're joining us, welcome to our webinar from the investor community. Please put in your chat box, say hello. We're going to get going here. I just need to figure out why I can't see you, Whitney, and we'll go from there.
I can see you.
I'm just going to make you co-host because I'm not sure about that. So you should be able to come on now. Hopefully you don't have a problem. Let's look.
Let's see.
Hey there.
Hey, tech works until it doesn't, right?
Long time no see. How are you?
Good. And you?
Doing well.
Excellent. Well, guys, I'm so excited to share with you today about car washes. Yeah. And so, Liz, can I share my screen?
Yeah, before you do that, I'm just going to welcome everyone, share a little bit about Investor, and then introduce you if that's cool, just so we can jump in here. But thanks so much for being here today, Whitney. Yeah. All right, let me do that really quick. I just want to see if I can share my screen, and then we'll get rolling here. Hold on. Bear with me, everyone. But welcome. I'm excited about this topic here. Why can't I share this now? Show all windows. No. Oh, there we go. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen right now. But this is all about to make sure you're in the right place, how to invest in car washes for cash flow and appreciation. So super excited about this topic. Just for those who are new, put in the chat box if you're new to our community. Please put in there new. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. But our mission is to empower women to live a financially free and balanced life. And what we do is we provide a global platform that's intimate, that really is all about creating deeper connections. And we do that in a lot of different ways. So thank you for being here. And that's what we're up to. That is our passion, to really create that safe space, non-intimidating space for women to create the financial freedom they want on their own terms. Just a little bit about us. We have a podcast that gets released twice. We are published by Bigger Pockets. We're around 55,000 downloads a month. And we release Tuesdays and Fridays. So if you don't know that, we have it's called the Real Estate Investor Show. We have meetups across the country of 60 plus in the United States, as well as a number of them in Canada. So go on our website, and these are local groups to support you in your investing kind of journey. So if you don't know about those, please check those out. We also have our Strive membership. That is something we launched a number of years ago. That's really about helping women who are experienced 5 to 10 deals really scale and grow their portfolios. And there's more about that on our website, and actually where we take it's application only. We take applications ongoingly. So check that out in terms of masterminding and getting the support you need to grow and scale. Facebook, a lot of you know about our Facebook group because you're in it, but you can always post questions and get the support you need there. And we have a growing, really safe environment there. We really we take a lot of things out of that group, because it can get noisy, but we really try to keep it a very safe space for women to get support they need. We always have events going on. We have at least 2 events, typically live free events a month, which is one that you're on here. We also have an EXP team and org that's all about women agents who are also looking to invest. So you can check that out more. And investments, we are active investors as well. We are constantly looking for deals, different projects that we're involved in. So we're active along with you. And just lastly, before I introduce Whitney, and I'm so appreciative, Whitney, that you and Passive Investing will be one of our valued sponsors at our Investor Con. This is coming up May 18 and 19. If you do not know, we have an Investor Con coming up. Please check it out. It's less than almost 2 months away, which I cannot believe it. But this is going to be such an amazing 2-day experience in sunny Scottsdale. It's going to be at this beautiful resort. We have rented out the entire resort at the Omni. So it's just a beautiful place. We've been there a number of times. So come, really engage with us. It's all gonna be about generational wealth. And Whitney and Passive Investing is one of our appreciated, valued sponsors. So we're so appreciative of you guys being there, sponsoring us. And we have some phenomenal companies along with us too, that are doing lots of different things in the space of investing and self-care too. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing. Unless anyone has any questions, you can throw them in the chat and I'll try to jump in. But so excited to have Whitney here with me here. Sorry, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. Whitney and I go back for a few years now, right? We've known each other. We're both in Go Abundance together, and really have a mutual respect for each other. And she's doing so many neat things in investing, but I don't know how we got along got this topic going. And I thought this was so helpful because so many times we're investing, but we also want to diversify our energy and diversify our investments. And so that's why we're so excited, because it's not just real estate investing, it's business and then self-care, our 3 pillars that we do everything with InvestHer. And it's all about creating financial freedom. And sometimes that's investing in real estate, and sometimes that's investing in a business. So without further ado, Whitney, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for teaching and sharing, your insight here, and I'll give you the floor. And I'll just quick housekeeping. If you can put your Q&A in the actual chat, Q&A box, not chat box. That would be much more helpful. So then, Whitney, I can come on about quarter of-ish and then field questions. So don't worry about fielding questions. I'll be your kind of Vanna White, if you will. And I'll give you the floor for quite some time to teach and share. And I'll be here, but behind the scenes, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you so much. And yes, I am so excited to be here because I share a similar passion as Liz and Andressa, which is just empowering people, but more importantly, women, on how to invest in real estate and businesses so they can create the life of their dreams, their lifestyle by design, if you will. And I started off, actually, let me share my screen. I have a whole presentation for you guys. So do I have the power here, guys? Let's see.
Yeah, can you post it if you don't?
I do. So.
Okay, awesome.
Yay. Awesome. So while we're going to talk about car washes today and how to invest in them for, specifically for cash flow, I'll also talk a little bit how to invest in them for appreciation. Now, majority of what I'm going to say today is going to be from how can you get involved from a passive investing standpoint and kind of what are the different models out there. However, for those of you who are interested actually in investing in your own car wash actively, like this is something you're dying to be an owner operator of, and you can take you can glean a lot of information from here and how to source, a high quality location for that car wash and scale it up. Now, for me, I'd be remiss if I didn't start with my story on how I got into real estate. I actually started real estate investing back in 2002. I had no idea back in 2002 that was actually going to launch me down this path where I'm at today as the Director of Investor Education at PassiveInvesting.com. I've worn many hats in the private equity space, from Director of Operations, Director of Investor Relations. I've done all the capital raising. So guys, if you have questions about that towards the end, happy to impart whatever knowledge I have. But it was buying that house back in 2002 that launched me down this path. And I bought it with a significant other. And about a month later, the relationship fell apart. And here I had this house, all the expenses, all the bills, everything under my name. And I panicked. Really, I was like, this thing's going to sink me. So I stuffed it full of roommates. And, back in 2002, guys, YouTube did not exist. So I had to learn how to rehab this house, take out all the green shag carpet, redo all the floors, do all the rip down walls, put in drywall, even did my own electrical and plumbing, which should not have been doing that, but I had to learn it all from a Home Depot 1, 2, 3 book. And by the way, I still have that book handy. It's so valuable. But long story short, that really launched me down this path, because what I learned from that experience is that I could actually create value that was not attached to my time. And I know that is something that, Liz and Andressa, they speak endlessly about on their podcast, in their membership groups, in the Strive group, is, how can we be the best versions, not only of ourselves, but really create that value out in the world and be rewarded for it. I mean, heck, guys, we should be rewarded for the value we create. Now, fast forward over that time, I've done it all. I've done single family out of state, multifamily out of state. And each time I hit a level of achievement, and it was really what got me through busting through those ceilings of achievement, was the community around us. So I'm so thankful that you guys have found the real estate investor community. Dive in deep here. And I really look forward to seeing you guys in Scottsdale here May 18th and 19th. But where I'm at today with my portfolio is, this meandering course through real estate is that my husband and I, this is our personal portfolio, is that we've acquired over 6,500 multifamily units, 2,200 self-storage units, and invested in over 7 express car washes. Now, this portfolio is both active investing as well as passive investing. And so that's why in today's presentation, when I talk about car washes, I'm going to easily ebb and flow back and forth between being actively involved and passively involved, because as Liz already said, just because you want to scale your portfolio doesn't mean you have to do everything actively. You can stay in your niche area. Maybe it's multifamily, maybe it's self-storage, and continue to diversify your streams of income and your exposure in the market, and tap into, invest in other people's businesses. Maybe that's how you want to do it. And it's been, this is just part of our portfolio. It's not even all of it. But really what this portfolio does, it's vanity numbers, really. The result is that we have 100% control on how we spend our time. That choice, that freedom to pursue financial independence, financial freedom, do what you want, when you want, with whomever you want. But more importantly, the choice on how we spend our time to be location independent, to create an impact in the world. And that's really what this power of the community, and that's what you're after, is those freedoms. Now, before I launch into today's presentation around car washes, I just want to say everything that I share here, disclaimer, it's not financial advice, legal advice, or tax advice. Guys, if you're going to do this actively or passively, you have to consult with your own professional team before participating in any investment. All right. Now, first, we need to build the case. Why look at express car washes as part of your portfolio? And in order for us to really understand why, we have to understand what. Okay, what is an express car wash and what is it not? Well, really, there's 4 different types of car washes to be involved in. One, you have the DIY, the in-bay automatic. Okay, so we have a camper van, and so I have to continue using this. Think of this as that your kind of garage-like car wash. You drive the car in, you drop the quarters in, you get your brush and your hose out, you start scrubbing down the vehicle, and you just pray that your 10-year-old doesn't get a hold of the water wand and hose you down like she did to me the other day. You'd think I would learn a lesson, because this happens repeatedly. She thinks it's hysterical. Okay, then you have your in-bay automatics. Now think of this as the car washes, maybe 1 or 2 cars can fit into it. It's usually attached to a self-service gas station. And really, this is an added cost center or an added stream of income for that particular facility. The gas, that's where I usually see it, is with gas stations. I've heard that it can be attached to like lube centers and stuff like that, but really it's an additional cost center. It's automatic, right? There's not much labor involved with it. However, if you as the customer, you're 3 or 4 cars back in line, you're probably going to move on. You've got something else to do with your time rather than wait. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we have what you call your full service car washes. Now, these are amazing. You can pull up. Usually you don't have to wait in line very long, and you have an army of people that go in and clean the inside of your car out and vacuum it. And then it goes through a short little tunnel, maybe through 30 feet long, gets washed. But then there's an army of people waiting on the outside of that tunnel to wipe down, dry off the car and wipe down the interior again to make sure there's no dust particles. Now, those are good value add assets as well. However, they're very labor intensive. Now, there is this area, this type of car wash, the express tunnel car wash, that balances out that high overhead of labor, as well as gives you all the benefit of automation. Okay, so we can take a lot of the technology that we've learned, developed in automotive technology and how we run our businesses now with self-storage facilities, and combine those two together to create a very operational efficient express car wash tunnel. Now here we can probably wash about 400 to 500 cars a day with 2 to 3 full-time employees. Now, before you get all super excited and say, yes, this is what I want to do, I'm going to go start finding some land to build a express tunnel car wash. Let's talk about where the industry is heading and where the growth potential is, and really what you might be getting into if you choose to do this actively, as an active investor. Now, the industry in a whole is about a $33 billion a year industry. And the industry as a whole, across all 4 types of those car washes, is growing just about 3.9%. Now, that may or may not seem like awesome numbers to you. Like, I want to participate in an industry with higher growth potential. Well, the express tunnel car wash space is actually growing at almost double that clip. So there's a huge amount of growth. There's a huge amount of opportunity in this space, because remember, up until just a few years ago, the technology really wasn't there for us from an automation component to be able to rebuild something like this and really take advantage of the delta in the operational expenditures. But what we have is a lot of people in the past 10 years have actually entered the space. Okay, they're mom and pop owners. They were aspiring to own their own location. They saw the opportunity for this to be an amazing cash cow. And maybe they had $1.5 or $2 million to throw down on a piece of land and either do a ground up construction or buy into a franchise model. However, they probably quickly realized that it was going to take somewhere between 5 to 10 locations before they can hire a regional manager and start leveraging themselves out of the job, okay, out of that operations role, and really truly make it a passive portfolio for themselves. Okay, and that's really where big money has started to come in. They've seen this opportunity, that it's a very fractionalized industry, and that most people, most of the owners out there, 85% of the owners out there actually own less than 5 locations. So they can't actually ever achieve the scale with getting themselves out of the business. Okay, this is where big money is starting to enter this space from a passive standpoint and, consolidate these portfolios together. Okay, so this is a really unique opportunity. If you're wanting to do this actively, I think it's an amazing space to enter. There's still an amazing amount of growth potential. I think you need to also be ready to solve some key issues there. 1, how quickly can you scale? 2, can you build a property management company to scale yourself out of your business as well? Okay, now, if you're wanting to invest in this arena passively, there's some, things that we need to pay attention to in this industry in order to take advantage of the full space's potential. Okay, now we've already touched on that car washes, especially the express tunnel car washes, are very low operational expenditure, high cash margin. Now, what makes them, other than the industry, metrics, let's talk about the customer base. Like, why are these like a hot commodity now? Why would they survive really well in a recessionary environment? I know I fully believe that we are in a recession. If not, like, we've just changed the definition of recession, but a lot of people are feeling the pinch right now. And car washes are still doing really well. The average person who owns a car washes their car about 13 times a year. And if preferred, they're not going to do it in their own driveway. They want to take it to a facility. And because time is valuable to them, most people that wash their car not in their own driveway, over 72% of them are going to choose an express car wash facility over any other facility they could possibly visit. Now, what makes it very recession resilient is because when in tough times like this, tough times back in 2020, in 2009, 2011, people actually have to take better care of their cars for a variety of reasons. The household budget's tight. They can't maybe afford to take on a car loan. Maybe they can't even qualify for a car loan. In 2020, you couldn't even get a new car because there's no chips. So you had to, essentially take care of the car that you had. So when we think about this is, we always want to have, risk mitigation on the top of our minds, especially in this type of environment. This becomes a very recession resilient asset class. Okay, now we've got the asset. So we've talked about the industry, we've talked about the customer, okay, what makes it recession resilient. Let's talk about the asset. And we've already touched on a lot of these points, is that we're in this early consolidation of a very fractionalized industry. We are tapping into a very scalable model with express tunnel car washes. And it gives us an opportunity to shift income from being linear to residual income and tap into those low OpEx expenditures and, reap the benefits of the high margins. We can label a lot of technology on this, and we can also be very environmental. And again, you can reap the benefits of all this, whether you get involved actively or passively. And we'll touch more about the environmental benefits of express car washes here in future slides. So how do you invest in it? You understand what a express car wash is and what it's not. You understand the industry and why this is an amazing time to start getting into this industry. You understand the benefits. You also understand the drawbacks of getting into the industry. How do you actually suss out what investment is right for you? Okay, so when I look at any investment, I'm looking at it across 7 pillars. Okay, these are principles that I look at for evaluating. Now, I have a larger due diligence checklist that I use in order to, this is very high, 30,000 foot view level. But really, when I'm looking to invest, I'm looking to hit 7 wealth pillars. And why all 7, if I can, is because it gives me an opportunity. This is principle-based investing. It gives me an opportunity to make money, whether the market goes up, down, or sideways. And I think that right there probably resonates with a lot of you right now. Now, why car washes? Why did they kind of fit this bill? Okay, these 7 pillars. Let me show you how it does. Okay, 1, you can invest in them and preserve capital. All right, if you've done right, you can actually invest in an operating business and still own the underlying real estate. Okay, so like anything, it's investing in location, location, location. And I'd actually add another location on top of that. Okay, you want to be in the right market, in the right submarket, on the right street corner with the right traffic count. Ideally 20,000 vehicles a day coming past that corner. Okay, that's why you see multiple gas stations, maybe one on every corner. Okay, I would imagine car washes eventually are going to be like that because you've got the traffic count coming by, and so there's customers in that traffic count. But we want to be in those growth markets. Okay, just like any real estate, we want to be where the population's growing, incomes are growing, jobs are diversified. The household income is growing, not just the individual income, but the total household income is growing. But again, we want to, not just, throw a dart at a market. We want to be very specific down to the street corner with the traffic count coming by. All right. We can also protect this investment when we look at it and gauge it upon the cash flow. All right. We already talked about which of these type of car washes, which of the 4 types of car washes is going to reap the highest cash margins, and that's going to be the express tunnel car wash. Now, there are a few different ways to invest in car washes if you're going to choose to do this passively, even if you wanted to do it actively. And that is, you can be the direct owner operator, own the land, own the brand, own everything about the car wash, or you can invest in a franchise. Now, there's no right or wrong way. I just want to point out that whether you, especially if you're going to invest into car washes passively, franchises do have an added layer of business risk to them, in my humble opinion, in that you don't own the land. You may own the land, may or may not, but you certainly don't own the brand on the car wash. And then you're going to run into some marketing issues when you invest in a franchise. You're going to have market areas that you can't. You might have you own one particular market, another franchise owner in the same city might own another market share. You guys can't cross over each other for whatever reason. That carries into whether the same issue if you invest in a car wash passively as well. So I really like looking at opportunities where the operator owns the land, owns the brand, and even, if possible, owns the third-party management company. Okay. They're not trying to run this all themselves. They're building out a company, vertically integrated company, in order to take over that management. And why I like that too, from a cash flow perspective, is they're going to be able to drive negotiation to get certain chemicals in. They're going to be able to share employees amongst locations. Whereas if you're in a franchise model, unless you're the one that owns multiple franchises in the same location, you're not going to be able to do that very easily. Car washes also have a lot of tax benefits when they come with them. And I think a lot of people are amazed. For the portfolio that we're in, we're seeing about 70 to 90% year one losses on those for tax benefits. And a lot of people kind of scratch their head and we're like, how is that even possible? How can you get 70 to 90% year one losses? It's because you can actually deduct the building as part of the equipment. Okay, that's how we're hitting that 70 to 90% year one losses. Okay, and that comes whether you're investing, doing this investing actively in your own portfolio, you're going to be able to take those losses, or passively in somebody else's portfolio, you should be able to take those losses. Now, if you're going to invest passively into somebody else's deal, make sure the operator is sharing those losses with you appropriately. Kind of blows my mind sometimes that not all general partners actually pass through those losses to, fairly to the limited partner. Okay. Another thing about the space, just like with multifamily and self-storage, you can perform a cost segregation analysis and take advantage of accelerated depreciation and move that to the first few years of the asset. And we can also tap into bonus depreciation as well as 179 depreciation. So really, as bonus depreciation ticks down, at some point in time, we're going to be able to, flip that model on either we're going to be able to look at, do we take bonus depreciation, or is the 179 depreciation going to be more beneficial for us? All right. Now, I also like car washes because they're a great inflation hedging asset. One, we can lock in debt, just like with multifamily. When you're buying a building or self-storage, you can lock in today's debt in today's dollars and let inflation, as the dollar devalues over time, let that loan erode. So that's something that we can do here. But I also like looking at an inflation in a different lens, in that it's pretty easy for us to manipulate the income on the asset as well as the expenses. Now, the reason why I say the income is because most car washes, one of the value adds when you get in this space, you're going to want to move your customers from single pay to subscription models. Okay, so they might be paying, $8, $9, $10 a car wash, but they might only come one time a month, and they might disappear and use somebody else's car wash the next month, and somebody else is across town the next month. So you don't have all that income staying on your property. If you choose to build this on your own, or if you're investing in another person's business, make sure that they are moving that income to subscription model. One, so you can reap the benefits of that sustained income over time, on your location. But two, you have loyalty for that customer coming back to you time and time again. So with that subscription model, though, a lot of investors will go, well, hey, what happens if that person washes their car multiple times a month? Don't I start losing money here? And in truth, more than likely, no, if that subscription is appropriately priced. So, the subscriptions, for the businesses that we're involved in start at $25 a month. That's the base. And they go up to $45 a month with added bells and whistles at each tier. And the actual cost to wash the vehicle through, say, like a 60 to 80 foot long tunnel, end to end, all the water, all the electricity, all the chemicals, it's about 80 cents a wash, maybe $1 in some locations, depending on the cost of water. Okay, now that doesn't take into account, labor. Okay, you still have that cost, but most of the customers that, participate in a subscription model actually only wash their car 1.8 times a month. Okay, that's a hefty delta there for you to take advantage of in your business. Okay, now that delta gives us an opportunity to for us to adjust our operations to remain nimble with the economy and the environment. Not only that, just having an express tunnel itself allows you to remain nimble, because you can speed up the tunnel, you can slow it down, you can add maybe somebody's subscription, if you have the technology, they scan it and they get a tire shine every time they come through. Maybe somebody else's, they only get it once a month when they come through. You can actually, with that technology, you can really manage the operation expenditure on that particular the investment, really manage the profit and loss statement. All right. Another reason why express tunnels checked this box for me as a great value add investment is that, again, we touched on the early consolidation. Okay, this fractionalized mom and pop industry, consolidating it, but there's really a need for third-party management. Okay, so this industry really harkens back to self-storage in 2007, 8, and 9. When self-storage was still largely fractionalized amongst mom and pop owners, and there was no third-party property management companies. And a lot of people started swooping in, snapping up self-storages, building out these third-party management companies. This is an amazing opportunity to get in the space, because we're essentially at the beginning of this business cycle with express tunnel car washes. All right, so there's the opportunity there for you to, consolidate in the market, layer on, building out your property management, providing an immense amount of value that way for an exit. But also, you just have your standard levers that you can pull here, increasing income, decreasing expenses, and adding additional amenities to warrant higher tier subscription from your customer. So one of the things that I love, I have a dog. She's not in the room with me right now, but there's nothing worse than, cleaning the car and then putting a dirty dog in the car, I think. And so one of the things I really love about express tunnel car washes is a lot of these facilities, for, maybe $500 CapEx investment, they're putting in a pet wash at the car wash. So you can get your car washed and you can go in and wash your dog, with your membership, and put the clean dog in the clean car. And, it's just a couple bucks extra layered onto the membership, but, every dollar to the bottom line increases the NOI. In this case, it's called EGI, expected gross income, and really boosts the value of the asset. All right. Now, when we talk about the equity growth pillar, how do we evaluate this? I always love looking at how the operator, or how you as an operator, might exit. Like, what are you going to do? What is your overarching business plan? How are you beginning with the end in mind? And, there's really three possible exits here. And, most people get into this and they're just looking to, pick up a car wash that's below value, or maybe develop their own car wash and exit, maybe, 5-10 years on an individual sale. Some people also see the value of building up, scaling a larger portfolio, say 20, 30, 50, 100 locations. And they see the value as long as they can solve that third-party management issue, build out their property management company, they can potentially exit to a private equity REIT. But because this is a cash flowing business, there's another exit that's possible. And that is scaling a portfolio, say of 250 locations or more, and taking it IPO. Okay. And each level, each tier that you shoot for in scaling your car wash portfolio is going to allow you to reap a higher multiple upon exit. All right. Now we're near the end. I just want to say the 7 pillars, you have to invest with experts in the space. If you're going to invest passively, make sure you're investing with people that understand the strategy, have got the expertise and track record. They have the team behind them in order to help you build and scale that asset. And they're in it to win it, so to speak. And this is my invitation to you guys. If you want to connect with me and learn more, you can scan this QR code. I do, weekly webinars as well, and just help people, understand passive investing in general, so you can take these skills and apply them to your own portfolio.
Love it. I love it. Couple quick things. There was a question. I want to field a couple of Q&As, and then I'd love for anyone else have questions, throw them in the Q&A, and then I have some questions myself. Yeah. But I think this is a great question to kind of kick it off. Is that, how do I find passive investments within the area of investment that I'm interested in? And I'd almost like to take that to another step, is, how do you then vet those potential sponsors? Because you and I know, Whitney, we're both involved with passive investing. Not every company is created equal, right? And so, there's a lot of people who are noisy on social, and are they the right people they should be working with as a operator? So that's the question. And then we could talk about how to actually vet, or if you have any suggestions there. But how do you actually find passive investments within the areas that they're interested in? And now Stephanie. So thanks for asking that question, Stephanie.
Yeah. And just to clarify, just in general, not just like related to car washers, correct? Like,
yes, correct.
Okay.
Awesome. You could use that as an example, but beyond that, totally. Self-storage, fill in the blank.
Okay, awesome. And somebody said, put up the QR code. There you go, guys. That's why I put it back up. Wow, this is something that I really love talking about, because when you get into passively investing, I think a lot of people, they get really enamored by the numbers for how little work that they have to do. And I think when we are investing in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, we like that because it's very little work for us, but we are trained to think about the return we're going to get. And I think, Stephanie, you are asking the right question, because you have to flip that model on its head, and it's who you invest with. It's the operator, the market, and the deal. And I'd even back that up. What is your goal? Understand your goals, your risk, your timeline. Then start finding the operators, and then the market and the deal. Now, how do we find the operators, right? That's the key. I love going to conferences, and guys, Liz did not pay me for this. Go to conferences, investor being the amazing opportunity. I would, start there, go to high valued conferences where operators are going to be there, because the cream of the crop are going to invest in their companies to be there. Invest Her, Multifamily Investor Nation Conference, Best Ever Conference. Those are like my top 3. Another thing that I really love is joining investor groups, Invest Her groups, right? Because you can crowd share with other investors, and there you're getting real-time feedback on how that operator is doing at that time in the market. Okay. So Invest Her community would be an amazing group to join. Let's see, Left Field Investors is another one that I really like. maybe you have a local group, like we have Boulder Investment Group in my area. There's investment groups out there. Those are my top two favorite ways. Then past that, yeah, you can go to meetups. Meetups aren't, I think you have to do an incredible amount of due diligence with the operators that you meet at meetups, because it's such a low bar for any operator to go there. Very low bar. So your amount of due diligence has to be even higher. Yeah. And then my least favorite way is doing Google searches online. I think you use Google searches to trust but verify, to verify what you found out at a conference, what you found out from other investors. Get a little bit of information, but then you have to jump on the phone with them. Okay.
Yeah.
But those would be the kind of the steps that I would take in order to start finding those operators that are going to have the investment that you're looking for that matches your goals and risk and timeline. Yeah.
I love that. I would also add to, track record and longevity in our business does matter. If someone's like, oh, I've been, investing for so long, and they started like during COVID. I mean, I don't know. That's great. But, to me, it's like, okay, that was a different time. What have you lived through, and or at least someone on your team, what have they lived through? They don't have to have 20 years experience, but they should have some experience through different cycles of the market and of real estate, because it helps on some level, of course, because there's a lot of moving parts. A big question I would ask if you're vetting an operator, Whitney and I are both operators and we're both syndicators. We know how important this is. Ask the person you're vetting, say it's for self-storage, multifamily, the list is endless, what you can get invested in, but ask them, when a deal hasn't gone the way you thought it was, what happened? And then how did you respond? Because if an operator says every deal has gone exactly to my projections, they're completely full of shit. Sorry, we're recording this. Hopefully you're not playing this with the kids in the car, but they're full of it. So you want to know what happened and what they did about it, and how did they protect their investors? Because if they can't answer that eloquently and quickly, I would run. Thirdly, I just want to say quickly is, how do they pay their investors, and when do they pay their investors? Do they get paid first? Do their investors get paid first? So something also to be mindful of, where they, motivated in terms of their payout schedule. So something else you might want to dig as you're vetting, and then I can go on and on, but those are just a couple of quick things too, as I've counseled women in our community too. All right, we got a bunch of questions, Whitney. Let's rock and roll here. Rachel, so the express tunnel would be similar looking to washes at the gas stations, just trying to picture. Oh, okay, she's trying to picture. Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah, there you go, Rachel. There's kind of one right there. Well, I guess that doesn't show the whole car wash, but so essentially you would come in, there'd be like a bank of like vacuums on one side, and then you'd drive around the backside, and maybe you would have like a 60 to 120 foot long tunnel. The longer the tunnel, the more cars you're going to be able to wash. Okay. And then, yeah. And probably 10, 12 cars can fit in that tunnel at any one time. And they're all going through different stages of the wash, right? Whereas the one at the gas station, you have to wait for the one car to get entirely washed before the next car can go in. No, you can have multiple lanes in express tunnel car wash. You can have like a VIP lane that just shoots people through. Then you can have another lane right beside it where, it's taking a little bit longer, and for that VIP lane, you can actually charge more. So it's really a unique industry, but the longer the tunnel, probably the more washes you're going to be able to do a day.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. So next question, how do you manage liability if a car gets damaged in the tunnel? It's a good question.
Yeah, definitely. Insurance. So there's a couple of different things. We actually, when, speaking about our own portfolio at passiveinvesting.com, we started bringing on our first assets, early part of last year. And, maybe the tunnel was going too fast, right? And it would rip somebody's windshield wiper off. I mean, you don't want to do that at all, because guess what? That customer, if you can't solve it quickly, swiftly, and have amazing customer service, that customer's never going to come back. Moreover, they're probably going to go on Yelp and leave a really bad review about you. So it's really important from a customer service standpoint that you solve those those issues immediately. And you're going to uncover them with any piece of equipment, any business in the first week or two that you're open. But one, liability, how do you handle that? You're going to have insurance to handle any of those type of damages. With express tunnel car washes, it's generally going to be ripping off a windshield wiper. And you want to actually have somebody trained, your staff on hand, cross-trained to try to maybe swap out a wiper or have a technician that can come on site really fast, repair that car. But just have a plan in place to quickly, ASAP, like solve that issue. And then customer service, customer service, customer service. It's just like being a landlord. What's the number one step of like safeguarding yourself? Is being an amazing landlord. You can have LLCs and insurance and all that out the wazoo, but being an amazing landlord, that's what's going to protect you.
So true. And real quick, the conference, I know I put the 3 conferences, someone is asking in the chat box. Your event, June 12th to the 14th, right?
Yep. Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going to be, me and Matt are speaking too. So excited about that.
I'm so excited for your talk as well.
Oh, investing with your spouse,
Exactly.
Always a fun time. All right, Cheryl, you're asking, can you list those 7 pillars specifically or in order?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I call them 4 pillars, 3 rules. Capital preservation, invest in assets that are going to preserve capital. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, rule number 1, right? Warren Buffett, standard here. Cash flow, I wanted to make sure that asset is stable in today's environment. Okay. Even if it's just like 2 or 3 or 4%, I want to make sure it makes money today. Okay. And that there's a business plan to grow it. 3, equity. Okay. I want to have, this is one of the reasons why I started moving away from single family investing, is because I realized I'm so at mercy at the comparative analysis, right? Like I'm at mercy of the market. What are the ways I can put that control back in my hands? So that's why I love institutional grade assets, multifamily, self-storage, things with multiple streams of cash flow. Still love my single family. I still have some. And then tax benefits. Okay, those are your 4 pillars. The 3 rules after that are safe use of leverage. Okay, super important in today's environment because leverage can amplify returns. It can also wreck returns. We are going to see a lot of operators hurting over the next few months with leverage. They already are, okay, with bad use of leverage. 2, that you're investing in an asset that has inflation hedging. Of course, if you're locking in a loan, you're going to get some element of inflation hedging, but how often can they increase their income? How often can they adjust their expenses? Can they readily pass that through to the customer? And then the 7th rule, invest with amazing operators. If you're an active investor, you're the operator. Okay, invest in yourself. Okay, make sure you know your business. If you're going to invest in other people's business, this is where it kind of comes back full circle to what Liz was just saying. You have to learn how to vet operators. Liz has resources. I have our passive investing made simple boot camps where I teach these skills. I workshop these skills with people so they can go into their first and next investment with confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And protect, and not only make money, but protect their original money, right? Their amount that they're actually investing. That's huge. Rachel is asking, what is the typical PP, hold period, and minimum investment in this space?
So I have to ask, is it going to be, are you going to be active or passive? PP, what do you guys define PP as here, Liz?
I'm assuming she's saying private placement. I'm not sure what PP stands for, honestly, what she's asking.
Okay. Yeah.
If you can clarify.
You can clarify that. That'd be amazing.
Clarify. Oh, purchase price. Sorry.
Purchase price. Oh, okay. If you're going to open your own location, you probably need $1.5 to $2 million to do that. That's without the land. Okay. That's just the building and equipment and all that to build it from the ground up. Now you could buy an existing operation. Okay. And maybe lower that barrier cost of entry. Hold period. If you're going to own it actively, that's your choice. If you're going to invest passively, it depends on the operator and what their exit is going to be. For us, we are looking to scale 250 to 300 locations in about 3 to 5 years and do an IPO exit.
That's great.
And minimum investment, Again, passively, you can invest in assets that are more franchises that are probably just single asset entities. I've seen those minimum investments at about $100,000. We do portfolios. And so we're, picking up 3, 5, 6 locations at a time across multiple markets. And so our minimum investment is $100,000. I just encourage anybody to reach out to me if you've got a question about that. But you're instantly diversified over multiple markets and multiple deals and that type of structure.
I would just say, as you're navigating the active versus passive different routes, because right now a lot of active investors have money on the sidelines. They want to invest and they just don't have the deal flow, right? Due to a lot of different reasons, or it's just not penciling out with the interest rates, or go on with the different reasons. So a lot of active investors are considering passive investments so that their money can keep working for them while they're, sourcing deals. I think the big thing when you're considering both options, and I was literally just writing about this, is that you have to really take a step back, like Whitney said so beautifully earlier, is that you have to look at what your money goals are. Because maybe you can get to your money goals, your retirement goals, or are you looking to, create a new, replace your income? I mean, those are different goals. So you might be able to get to your goals or your family's goals with a couple of passive investments or multiple passive investments. I don't know that, right? It's such an individual, journey, but I would just take a step back and know, like Whitney said, what are you looking to accomplish specifically in terms of your financial and your money goals, short-term and long-term? And then you start to insert, okay, which strategy, what asset class makes sense? And then does it make sense for me to do it actively or passively? When you come from that perspective, it's a lot easier to kind of navigate versus, should I buy a short-term rental, or should I passively invest with Whitney or Liz or whomever? That's not the first question you should be asking. So you can really make sure it's a match for where you want to go on your own terms. That's what we stand for in our community. It's not about all sizes fit. It's like what fits for you and your family. So I just want to reiterate that, because I think it gets really noisy out there, Whitney, about, what's the right strategy? Well, it's relative to what is right for you and your own money goals, right? So not to go off on a tangent, but I want to mention that. All right, Beth, water issues in the West, Southwest. How do you see the—
I love this question.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah.
That's a good one. How is that being affected?
Yeah. Okay. So we are primarily, building on our portfolio in the Southeast, and, there's a lot of water there. Now, one of the cool things about express tunnel car washes is that, you would think that they would be very water intensive, and they are initially, but you can actually, in some jurisdictions, they make you do this, put water reclamation on the property. And so you can actually, take all the water that was used in the car wash, clean it in chemicals, you dispose of the chemicals, and now you reclaim that water and use it again. So there's reclamation systems that you can put in these. That also helps you lower your water bill. Two, I don't think a lot of people really truly understand that whenever, now it doesn't lessen that there are water issues out West, okay? But they're gonna regulate residential water before they regulate business water. Okay, so the water regulations don't necessarily apply to businesses as they do to residences. So very different there. I think, I'm constantly educating our investors and helping them understand that. Now, that said, we're starting to see a lot of, these, it's not us building them, but a lot of these places start popping up in the Phoenix metro area. Phoenix has a water issue, a very big one.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And then we'll just take two questions, and then Whitney, put the slide up again, how folks can connect with you and everything. I also would say too, the fact that Whitney stands for education. Again, another red flag. If you're talking to an operator who's not willing to take the time to educate and to really answer your questions, there should just be red flags. You should have the red flag monitoring as you're vetting. And the fact that Whitney, I know she stands for this, and I know her personally, her and Dan and their team is very committed to educating. If people are not willing to educate, run for the hills. So I just want to mention that because you said that. All right, 2 more questions. How much is the estimated cost to break into car washes? Oh, you said that already. Well, unless there's more information with each of the vehicles you mentioned. I don't know because you kind of shared how much money upfront capital. Is there anything else?
1.5 to 2 million if you're going to open up your own location. Costs may vary based on your land costs, where you live. Are you doing a franchise, not a franchise? So there's so many variables that go into that.
Okay, of course.
And guys, I know we're not going to get to a lot of the questions, Liz, while you're, picking the last few ones. Here's my email. If we didn't get to your question, email me, and I would love to have the opportunity to help you out.
Yeah, and I would say Susan's asking, is there some place that we can go to get the questions that we would ask to vet our operators and how to evaluate LP agreement? I think that's what Whitney is saying. I know she does a lot of, and they even have, you were saying about all the different educational avenues that can be taken. So I would highly recommend that. If we're all about moving the needle. So if you've piqued people's interest with car washes, and I think you have in so many ways, because if we're real estate investors, we want to diversify. We see the value of different businesses kind of being part of our portfolio, right? In terms of really building that generational wealth. What would be some first steps that if they just wanted to, move the needle, if you will, because it can kind of feel big, right? Buying a car wash or building it, especially 1.5 to 2 million. What would be some just initial quick steps, not quick, but initial steps that everyone on this webinar can take if they're intrigued and they want to just take that next step to learn even more about this particular niche?
Yeah. So I do, like I said, education, right? There is actually I said, go to conferences. There is a car wash conference in Vegas at the beginning of May. It's mostly geared towards active investors. We're going to have a presence there. But that would be an amazing first start. I'm sure I don't know what it costs to attend, but even if you threw down, $800 to $1,000 on your education to understand, is this something that I want to get into actively? That is amazing return, because if you don't, guess what? You didn't throw down $1 million or $1.5 million and all that time and sweat. And if you do, now you've made all those connections there. So I would, first attend a conference, take that next little baby step. I think it's like the first weekend in May, Vegas.
Awesome. Whitney, thank you so much for being on. I really hope, I hope everyone got something, that one piece of information, and more importantly, that you're going to do something with it. That's what we stand for in our community, of just taking information, applying it. And that's why we have a community that you can kind of post questions. Hey, I just took this webinar with Whitney, today. I did a little research and here's what's coming up for me. Post that in our Facebook community. That's the point. There's other women that are up to that as well. So Whitney, thank you so much. Excited to have you and Passive Investing at InvestorCon. And excited to see you in May. And just thanks for everything you do for our community. Just so appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me on, guys.
All right, everyone. And this recording will be sent to everyone that registered, which was over 500 people. So a lot of people got this, Whitney, which is awesome. This video also will be on our blog page. All of our past webinars are on there. So it's therealestateinvestor.com/blog. And you can watch this as well and connect with Whitney further. Okay. So thanks everyone for being on, and have a great rest of your day. All right. Bye, everyone.